Has there ever been an existing intellectual property more perfectly suited for a video game adaptation than The Expanse? I'll admit, I'm biased. I was absolutely hooked on this show throughout its 6-season run, but if you needed any more proof that the answer is a resounding yes, then look no further than Owlcat Games' own announcement trailer for The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. Greetings, Spacefarers, I'm Michael. It's been a couple of weeks since this trailer was released, and even as the old adage goes, better late than never, I still haven't been able to fully articulate my thoughts on it. I couldn't even shake my initial reaction that even the very first clip is a clear sign that this game will be a perfect visual translation of the show. How often do we get to claim that? Every single detail shown in these scenes before the studio logo appears is clearly meant to reassure us this is the same Expanse we all know and love, and this time we get to be part of it. They even use the same on-screen text. Now, that's doing your research. The fact that they chose to highlight the physics of living, working, and fighting in space right from the start is also a reassuring move, as in The Expanse, physics isn't just a background detail, it's practically a character of its own. The squad-based dynamic and slick cover shooter mechanics instantly give off some serious Mass Effect vibes, which for anyone familiar with my channel, you know that's what I'm all about. But even the show itself always felt very similar to Mass Effect in my opinion. I won't be spoiling anything from the show in this video, but if you're a science fiction fan who has never experienced The Expanse, you have to go give it a try. For anybody not familiar, The Expanse is set in the 24th century where humanity has managed to spread its civilization throughout the solar system. There are three main factions: the UN, centralized on Earth, the Martian Congressional Republic, guess where they are, and the various organizations of the outer planets, whose downtrodden people are colloquially referred to as Belters. From what we see in the trailer, it looks like our crew will feature at least one member from each of these factions, which is not only cool because of how it reflects the main heroes from the show, who by the way will likely feature at some point, but also from a role-playing perspective. Each member of the crew will hail from a different world with their own place in society and level of privilege. With all those varying backstories, the potential for intense dialogue, deep character arcs, and story-altering consequences is massive. And yes, there will be a dialogue and morality system. Morality in the books and show plays a significant role. See what I mean? It almost fits the single-player RPG mold perfectly, like it's too good to be true. The developers have stated they are as much fans of Mass Effect as they are of The Expanse, and they'll be drawing inspiration from that franchise's success, along with other titles like Dark Souls. What really excites me about that last point is the promise of rich RPG elements beyond just third-person combat, and one essential feature any Mass Effect-style game needs is a ship you can explore and truly call home. Watching the series, I always imagined what it'd be like to captain my own Rocinante, and with Osiris Reborn we might actually finally get that chance, or at least the next best thing. The main campaign will run alongside the events of the show, so no prequel or sequel detours. It stays entirely within the timeline of the world we've already seen on screen. That means we'll get to visit many of the same locations featured in the show. Whether that's good or bad depends on whether you're craving a more expansive universe, and yes, pun totally intended. Personally, I think it's a great choice. Sure, these locations have already been explored in the show, but this is our story now, so we'll be experiencing these familiar places through a completely new lens, shaped by our own journey. As I mentioned before, Owlcat has confirmed that some of the original TV actors will be returning to voice their characters. Whilst we don't know exactly how many will be returning, I'm really hoping that we're going to get to see more of Thomas Jane's Josephus Miller. I'm a big fan of the actor, and minor spoiler alert, but he doesn't actually get a whole lot of screen time in the grand scheme of the entire series. So this would be a good opportunity to get more out of the character. There's quite a few examples of this actually, where we have some characters that were used sparingly who could use some fleshing out. Who would you like to see return? Let me know in the comments. Outside of the hype and the obvious slam dunk nature of The Expanse as a setting for a video game, it also just looks fantastic. We mentioned the general aesthetic and the art design being a carbon copy of its counterpart, which is already amazing to look at, but even the character models and the facial animations look so good for a game that is supposed to be in its developmental stage. This is definitely Unreal Engine 5 at its best. I'm not suggesting it's perfect by any stretch, but if this is a sign of what we can expect, then shut up and take my money already. The majority of the trailer is cutscenes, but we do get small glimpses of actual gameplay, and it looks intense, full of variety, and in my opinion, like Mass Effect 3 on steroids. It does appear that it's going to be the type of RPG that even casuals can enjoy. For those less focused on combat, there'll be plenty of opportunities for exploration, having an impact on the story, and yes, some good old-fashioned space romance.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. We're bang, okay?
As a casual gamer myself, I'm not too familiar with Owlcat Games. I know that they developed a well-received Warhammer 40k game, but most of my confidence in them is born out of what we see in the trailer and what they've said in interviews. There seems to be this sort of reverence they have for not just the science fiction genre, but the role-playing gaming experience itself. Passion alone doesn't necessarily guarantee success, but it's a great foundational mindset to have. It does have me feeling relatively comfortable that this title and future Owlcat games are in perfectly capable hands. As I said at the beginning of the video, there is no clearer example of a perfectly suited franchise to be adapted into a video game. All the ingredients are there, and both the trailer and official website make it clear the developers are fully intent on using every last one of them. I couldn't be more hyped. The gameplay looks smooth, the lore runs deep, and while space might be cold and empty, it's never looked more alive or exciting. But what about you? Has Osiris Reborn caught your attention? I'd love to hear from longtime fans and newcomers alike. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. I haven't branched out much into other game series yet, but if you're into deep lore dives, check out my full Mass Effect playlist right here. Keyless Ally, my friends, and until next time.
I should go.